What's up YouTube? This is Luke Wilson and this is the Wilson Auto Detailing YouTube channel, and I'm here with my customer Andrea Williams, and she has been a very long time customer, and she volunteered when I asked her to be on camera, and so many people don't want to be because it's just so weird, but she's so sweet and was so willing. So I'm going to ask her a few questions, do a little customer interview, because I know a lot of pro detailers and beginner detailers follow this channel, and so I want you guys to be able to see kind of how I interact with my customers, how I talk to them, some communication techniques and things like that, and just get a very inside look on the Wilson Auto Detailing world and the people that I talk to on a regular basis. So Andrea, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yes, and why don't to start you tell everybody what is it that you do for a living? What do you do?
Well, I travel a lot, and
Okay.
that's one of the reasons why I initially needed you.
Right.
I'm in the medical world, so I travel 8 states and
Yes.
work with physicians, teaching them how to use equipment once they bought it. So
Okay.
I'm usually gone 5 days a week, and coming home to a clean car is very nice.
Definitely, yes. So Andrea is with the big dogs in the medical world. She is doing it and killing it. Now, you drive a, what is it, a Lexus, what, do you know the exact make and model?
430 SC.
Yes.
Yes, they no longer make it.
Yes,
A
bam.
cute car.
Yes, it's awesome. And let's see, so you were one of my very first customers, like, ever. Like back when I was 13 years old, and I'm 20 now, right? So that was like 7 years ago. Didn't know anything about what I was actually doing, but I knew that I could talk to people pretty well, and that worked well for me. But you were one of the first people that ever really had me detail their car. That's pretty crazy, you know? You've been with me for so long now, for about 7 years. So, but why is it that you keep calling me back to detail your Lexus that you have?
Well, like I said, I have the need
Right.
time-wise, I don't have the time to clean it. I am very particular about my car. I don't want to just run it through a car wash because it is going to be a collector's item.
Right.
And I want the paint and the car itself to stay in good condition, and it's very satisfying for me to have a clean car. So I always got that from you, and your attention to detail and the time you put in on my car really impressed me.
Yes.
So I keep calling you back.
Definitely. All right. I love that. Yes. So very good. Now, of course, because Andrea has been with me for like 7 years and just one of those like awesome, you know, customer relationships and just family friends, I always, you know, cut her a deal. I never charge Andrea full price. Just can't do it. But do you feel like the price, you know, for what I do and the time I take, the price is pretty fair? And is that something you're like comfortable paying?
Well, it's fair that I think you charge me way too less. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. For
Yes.
the time that you put in, I think it is very fair
Yes.
compared to other people I've had
Right.
do my car, and I haven't had anyone do my car since you have.
Right.
So, and you're the only guy that I know that uses Q-tips.
Yes.
For that detail.
Yes, Q-tip clean every time, has to be. Yes. So very good. Yeah, I like that you brought that up because it seems like in the detailing industry there's a lot of people who kind of like charge incredible amounts and then don't really like deliver on what you feel like you're paying for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So your Lexus has been kind of worked on and repainted some and stuff like that. And so a lot of times what you can kind of do to a regular car, you can't really do to your Lexus in particular. So do you feel like that I've always communicated with you well enough and told you exactly what I'm going to do, make sure the paint stays in the condition that it's going to stay in, not going to do anything to harm it? And sometimes you voice to me that you're concerned about specific areas and not really to do this to this area because it's been repainted. Do you feel like I've always heard you and responded and been able to communicate and tell you kind of exactly what I was going to do and do, that well?
Absolutely, because there have been issues that I've had the trunk repainted, for instance, and a ding on the door just recently been fixed and repainted. So there were issues that I asked you about, and you've progressed from 7 years ago when I first used you. You've used different products, and you've explained to me how they will not harm the paint, or if I have scratches or whatever, how you can help get them out, or the mechanic had, for instance, used on the carpet grease, and plus he had smoked in the car, which I am very against, and helping me get that out.
Right.
So that was obviously with products that you recommended, and I felt like you communicated with me
Definitely.
very well.
Definitely. Good. Yeah, because that's something that really a lot of auto detailers they almost disappoint their customers because going into it, they didn't communicate well enough with what they were going to do, what they weren't going to do, how they were going to do it, and make sure their customers kind of understand. And then either their customer kind of had an expectation that didn't get met, or you didn't communicate well enough and you didn't ask the right questions, so you actually end up harming something or, making some kind of damage on the car. And so that's something I always stress, especially in these videos with everybody who watches, is that communication is so important, because just like Andrea's Lexus, there are certain things and areas of the car that you can't really, buff or wax or things like that I make sure I ask questions and I make sure I give her time to voice those things to me before I just go into detailing. So thank you, that's very, very important. Very good. Now, I know that in the past, you have actually texted me when you had even some questions about waxes or things like that, like would this wax maybe help kind of mask this scratch or anything. And I've had you kind of communicate with me even when I wasn't detailing your car and just kind of ask me some questions about detailing. Do you feel like I answered your questions well when you did that? And even though you weren't paying me to do a job, I still responded to you. And do you feel like you got the answers and the information you needed from those instances?
Yes,
definitely.
Above and beyond, and at a reasonable time.
Yes.
So I could make adjustments. Even if you weren't available, I felt like you still got back to me, and treating me like an individual versus just your cookie cutter approach, and you treated everybody the same and every car is the same.
Right.
So yes, I felt like that was taken care of.
Awesome. I love that. And even more recently, when I was actually detailing your car just, last week really, there was a specific issue that you had talked about with the mechanic who was working on it, really kind of getting all these grease stains in the carpet on the driver's side, on the floorboard. And grease is something that's very difficult, and a lot of times, there are certain things that happen to cars that when they happen, they can't be restored to perfection, but they can certainly be improved and worked on and, kind of have preventative measures take so it doesn't happen again. But that was one specific area you had voiced to me, that there was some stains in the carpet on the driver's side. And I did everything I could, steaming, extracting and stuff. And of course it wasn't restored to complete perfection. But do you feel like, with those specific concerns that you have, and you tell me before I get started detailing, do you feel like those concerns are taken into account when I'm detailing and I kind of deliver on those things that you'd like me to deliver on?
Yes, that's where I felt like my car was an individual and I was an individual, and it wasn't just one plan, that you adjusted and you delivered.
Definitely. Well, awesome. Okay, well, I guess the very last question I have is there anything in particular about my business, the way I do business, that you would highlight, that you would say, I think that this area of Wilson Auto Detailing, you know, whether it be the detailing or the communication, this area is, you know, why I appreciate you or why I, you know, keep calling you back? Is there any one particular thing that jumps out at you?
Probably not only your good price and your attention to detail, but the shining moment is your work ethic. From when you were 13 years old and you were trying to make money for a mission trip,
Right.
college tuition, now a successful business entrepreneur, is your work ethic. Whether you're the young or the old generation, in this county where there is so much business, it seems like everybody's getting busy. Nobody wants to work.
Yes.
I have trouble people even showing up to give me an estimate.
Yes.
But to estimate, give me a time, show up, and do the job that I paid for, I think is almost a lost art. And it needs to be capitalized on and improved if you're going to become successful. And that's how I have respect for you and your business, is your work ethic.
Definitely. Well, thank you. Of course, that means a ton. And yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that's like, I think the one thing that I would say for my own business that really makes a person successful, or even just, you know, my business growing and becoming successful, is not even necessarily the detailing in particular, but the showing up on time and really communicating and making sure that everybody's on the same page and following up and, you know, saying thank you or whatever, like those kind of things. People don't really do that anymore. You know, and so when you throw in things like that, it's just like almost people are, yes, they're concerned about the job you do, but sometimes maybe I might even miss something, but because of maybe the attitude or the work ethic or just the follow-up, you know, people overlook things even, and because the other things they just so appreciate. You know, they appreciate attitude, they appreciate positivity, and, you know, they appreciate interaction and communication. So that's amazing. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the interview right here, and make sure to link up in the comments below and say thank you and a big shout out to Andrea, because she's amazing and volunteered and said yes to do this. So guys, once again, if you're new here to the Wilson Auto Detailing YouTube channel, consider subscribing, because I come out with daily videos just like this on tips and tricks, not only for the pro detailers, but also for the do-it-yourselfers, on not only products, tools, and strategies to use, but also things like communication skills, business skills, and customer interviews just like this one. So consider subscribing. And if this video helped you, maybe added some value to your life, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, put those in the comments section below. And everyone, as always, from Luke and Andrea here at Wilson Auto Detailing, I will see you guys in the next video.